One of the most fascinating things about the life of Jesus on earth for me is the fact that Jesus could walk on water all this while, but he has been using his legs, he has been using donkeys and boats for transportation. Let's not tell lies. You know that if it was you or me, we would have used that miracle every day. I hope you know that after that time, the scripture never recorded it that Jesus did that miracle again. So it means that even after walking on water, Jesus still went back to using boats and even walking on his two legs for ministry. For me, what I think this is telling us is that God is trying to pass a message across to us that even though we have the advantage of miracles and the supernatural available to us as believers, we should not neglect the place of principles. We should not, because we can do miracles and make life easier by the working of miracles, we should not neglect principles and our day-to-day activities in interacting with men and the way we can use our creativity to solve problems. So, for example, the person who gets healed by faith and the miraculous healing power of God is not any better than the person who gets healed by medicine, because medicine is God's idea also, and is a provision made by God through natural things that God created. Another example is that the person who is transported by the Spirit, if you believe in that, is not any better than the person who takes a plane so that he can land in the other country. Also, the person who encounters the supernatural provision of God is not in any way better than the person who works hard to feed. Jesus, by this miracle and the fact that he went back to taking boats, was telling us that walking on water does not invalidate taking boats. So there are two things that we can learn from this line of thought. The first one is that the fact that a miracle happened through Jesus did not mean that Jesus was teaching us that we should live every day by miracles. The same way that manna stopped at some point when the Israelites got to the place where they could feed themselves by hard work. The second thing to learn from this is that miracles do not in any way invalidate principles. The fact that you can receive manna from above does not mean that God doesn't want you to work or cook anymore. And in case you haven't thought about it before, the innovative ideas that we have are miracles also. For example, how did someone come up with the idea of creating an aeroplane? Something that can carry men and move into the air and transport them to the place where they are supposed to be. Is that not a miracle to you when you think about it? That someone can come up with an idea of how to transfer money without the use of cash or physical paper is a miracle. When God created Adam, he gave him dominion over everything. And when Adam needed anything, God did not always create for him what he needed by miracles. Scriptures did not say that. For example, now, God made the tree. Whenever Adam needed to sit, God would not provide a chair for him automatically. God would give him an idea from the brain that God has given to him. So God would give him an idea of how to look at a tree and make a chair out of that tree. That is miracle. The brain God gave us, the mind, the imaginative ideas that God gave to us, they produce miraculous things that we don't think about. So my conclusion is that miracles are not always the supernatural and extraordinary things that we see. Miracles are little things like the creativity, the innovation, being able to imagine something and achieving it, being able to visualize, being able to think far and wide, being able to solve problems through ideas that seemingly looks impossible. These are miracles. So don't limit God by your lack of knowledge. Make sure that you appreciate every innovative idea that you see around you and see them as a miracle.